let's get right into it. What if I told you that the hottest, most in-demand tech jobs of 2026 are not the ones that everyone is talking about right now? Seriously, forget about AI engineers and data scientists for just a second. We're about to dive deep into three incredibly important yet kind of under-the-radar career paths that are about to just explode. These are the roles that solve the really hard problems behind the scenes. So if you want to future-proof your career and get way ahead of the curve, you are going to want to see this. So, on one side, you've got the jobs getting all the mainstream hype. Your AI engineers, full-stack devs, cloud architects, and yeah, they are in super high demand, no doubt about it. But on the other side, we have what we're calling stealth opportunities. And these are a different beast altogether. These roles live at the intersection of huge risks, they solve mission-critical bottlenecks, and they demand that you are a master of more than just one discipline. So what does that actually mean, a stealth tech career? Well, the core idea is this. It's not just about using the shiny new tech. It's about solving the foundational problems that are stopping that tech from being used safely and at a massive scale. We're talking about careers that tackle the kind of threats that give CEOs nightmares. Huge legal battles, crippling fines, or a total failure of your infrastructure. Okay, let's jump into our first one, the AI governor. I love this subtitle, the regulatory navigator. That's exactly right. Think of this person as the captain who has to steer the company's AI ship through a sea of regulatory icebergs. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. We're way past the point of AI governance being some nice-to-have philosophical debate. With huge new laws like the EU AI Act coming online, this isn't optional anymore. It is a straight-up, non-negotiable matter of corporate survival. And check this out. This shows it's not just an IT problem. This report from the IIP is fascinating. Look at this. Privacy and legal are actually tied for the lead with IT right behind them. This proves that AI governance is a total team sport, and it needs a leader who can speak the language of the lawyers, the coders, and the C-suite. And here is the number that should make you sit up and pay attention. 52%. That is the reported talent shortage for people who can actually do this work. A gap that massive just screams opportunity. Companies are absolutely desperate for these skills, and they need them yesterday. So what's the day-to-day job like? Well, it is fascinating. You're not just ticking boxes on a checklist. You are literally auditing algorithms for bias, digging right into the code to make sure it's fair. You're writing the ethical rulebook for the entire company and ensuring every single product complies with a maze of global regulations. This is high-stakes, high-impact stuff. And to pull this off, you need this really unique blend of skills. It's not enough to be a great lawyer, and it's not enough to be a great data scientist. You have to be both. You need a deep understanding of privacy law, but you also need the technical chops to actually assess AI risk and have a credible conversation with your engineering teams. We see people coming into this from data science, from law, even from the philosophy of technology. And because that skill set is so incredibly rare and so critical, it is valued very, very highly. Top-end salaries are already hitting $170,000 a year in the US. And it makes sense, right? A great AI governor can literally save a company millions in fines and prevent a PR disaster. All right, let's move on to our second stealth career. Meet the privacy architect, or to be more specific, the synthetic data engineer. This role is all about solving one of the biggest paradoxes in all of modern AI. And here is that paradox, laid out perfectly. AI models are incredibly hungry. They need huge amounts of data to learn. But real-world data, especially our sensitive personal data, is a legal and ethical minefield. It's expensive to get, there's not always enough of it, and using it is super risky. So, how do you train a world-class AI without breaking the bank or the law? Well, that's where the synthetic data engineer comes in. Now, this is a deeply, deeply technical role. These engineers build systems that generate completely artificial data, that's the synthetic data, that perfectly mirrors the statistical patterns of real data. But, and this is the magic part, it contains zero personally identifiable information. Then, they have to prove that this fake data is good enough to train real AI models effectively. The technical bar to get into this field is incredibly high. We're talking about mastery of advanced models like generative adversarial networks, GANs, where you have two AIs basically battling each other to create the most realistic fake data possible. On top of that, you need a deep knowledge of privacy techniques like differential privacy, which is this really complex mathematical way to guarantee that no single person's data can be identified. This is not a role you just fall into. So, does all that intense specialization actually pay off? Oh, absolutely. A synthetic data engineer solves what is probably the single biggest bottleneck for AI in highly regulated industries, like finance or healthcare. And that's exactly why they can command a salary premium even over other top-tier AI engineers. They hold the key that unlocks AI for some of the most valuable parts of our economy. Okay, for our third and final stealth career, we're going even deeper. We're getting into the really fundamental stuff. Let's talk about the quantum builder, specifically the quantum network architect. This is the person who is literally building the foundation for the next era of computing. This quote from a giant like IBM says it all. The future of computing isn't about building one single giant quantum computer in a lab somewhere. It's about linking thousands of them together into a powerful distributed network. And the person who figures out how to build that critical connective tissue is the quantum network architect. The challenges here are just mind-bending. You're not just plugging servers into a rack in a data center. You are designing infrastructure that can entangle quantum processors across real, physical distances. You're building communication channels that are secured not by today's encryption, but by the fundamental laws of quantum physics itself. It's wild. And this is where that whole interdisciplinary mastery thing comes roaring back. A quantum network architect has to be a master of two completely different worlds. You have the world of classical network engineering, think Cisco routers and protocols, and then you have the deeply weird and complex world of quantum information physics. Finding people with true expertise in both, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. As you'd expect, that extreme scarcity is reflected in the salary, hitting around $145,000 in major tech hubs, and you can bet it's a lot higher in sensitive government or defense contract roles. But honestly, more important than any single salary is the pattern that we're seeing across all three of these amazing jobs. So, we've looked at three fascinating, fast-growing stealth careers. What's the real takeaway here? How can you actually use this way of thinking for your own career? This is it. This is the common thread that connects all of them. The most valuable, most defensible careers don't just use technology. They solve the foundational problems that enable it for everyone else. The AI governor enables legal use. The synthetic data engineer enables private data use. The quantum architect enables it all to scale. They unblock the blockers. So if you want to find the next stealth career before everyone else does, here's a little framework for you. 1. Look for the risk. What potential disaster is keeping executives up at night? 2. Find the constraint. What is the single biggest bottleneck holding back a brand new technology? And 3. Seek the intersection. Where do two totally different fields, like law and code or physics and networking, smash into each other? The next huge opportunity is hiding right there. Because at the end of the day, this is the mental shift that can really future-proof your career. The biggest opportunities aren't always in creating the next shiny algorithm. A lot of the time, they're in the less glamorous but far more critical work of solving the problems that stop that algorithm from ever being used in the real world. So the question I want to leave you with is this: where are you going to look for the next bottleneck?